galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. A galactic historian goes to each and every line of dramatic karma and lives in soul family with everyone, so they see the big picture of all of the karma that's going on in a local part of the universe.
The infrastructure of potential was there. You still had to connect the dots and use a series of free will expressions to get you there. There are also a number of people, the karmic doors closed them off to so much, all that was left was this galactic historian guy on the internet. People who listened to the Galactic History 1 and within a year went back to sleep because the world turned to be really shitty and no one woke up. None of the predictions happened. I understood as a higher soul that being in this time with the perceptive nature of the human I could be attracting people to the material that a person had to open the door with.
Hello, travelers of the universe. We are here from the Aurora Borealis. Welcome to the Talking Stick Show. So I'm joined by my special co-host. We have the great, the infamous David Ellis. Hello, David.
Hello, everyone. How are you all today?
Good. Really good. Good to have you on, David. Good. How's David's world going?
It's been busy. I'm doing stuff, and that's why you guys haven't been seeing me. I'm working on a bunch of exciting projects, and that's basically what I'm doing with my life.
Beautiful, okay. Wonderful. Amy, hello, welcome to the show.
Hello. Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing?
Amy Music Kruzic, all the way from the Aurora.
All the way from the Aurora. It's quite fun to be in the Aurora, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So, it is fun.
And I'd like to welcome the typo genius, the typo smasher, Laura Massey.
Hello, everybody. It's really good to be here. And having asked Dale why I don't have a white background and they do is apparently because they've ascended. And so I need to work very hard this session to get my ascension.
Or Laura, you're the boots on the ground.
Yep. Well, that is one thing. Yes. So it's good to be here, guys. And it's really good to have David on again. We've missed you, David. So it's good to have you back. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, welcome everyone. So if you'd like to come in for a chat, a reading, have some advice, ask questions, please click on the link in the description, which enables you to come into the Zoom room and so you can speak to us. So we're going to bring our first caller on. We have Leah with your hands raised. We're giving you the signal to unmute. Let's get this underway. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Leah.
How are you doing? Where are you calling from?
I'm in Montana today.
Welcome.
Hi, Leah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Good. How are you doing then? What's happening in your world?
I'm pretty nervous, honestly, because so much has happened since the last time I talked to you, and it's fairly vulnerable sex talk.
So what's going on with you? When did you call in last?
So I think I spoke to you all, including Andrew, for the first time about this the first week of September.
Okay.
And I actually spoke to Andrew 2 more times on one of his other shows since then. So I would say in the first half of September, I've talked about this 3 times. I don't even know where to start. So the very first time I called in, I was basically an unhappy housewife. And Andrew's prescription for me was sex, fantasy, and orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me it was going to be difficult. And I underestimated that statement a little bit. So as I go back and I look at the astrology of September, a lot of it had to do with restructuring of systems, beliefs, routines, and money. And what a lot of my unhappiness came from, I realized, was the structure of patriarchy, capitalism, colonialism, white supremacy. I've been reacting really hard to that whole bundle of oppression all year. And it had kind of culminated with me realizing that I was not happy in my marriage. And so I needed new guidance, and that's what brought me to you. And I'm like shaking. I'm so nervous.
Don't be. You've spoken to us lots before, Leah. You're with friends here.
Feels safe and good. It's just a lot. So one of the main things that Andrew and I ended up addressing was that I did do sex work in college. It was brief, but it was traumatizing. I did it for the money, among other reasons. And he told me that I really needed to go through a forgiveness, not only of like the body count that I was holding on to, but just grief. And I need to embody or kind of recall parts of myself that I tried really hard to release, I guess.
So as I'm scanning your sexual energy, it's like when you go into sexual frequency, you start going out of your body before you can actually experience the orgasm. And this is from the times where you were in the sex industry, doing what you needed to do at the time to survive. So there's parts of you when you're about to begin that sexual process, you go out your body because then you're out your body. And obviously you had sex with your clients back then. Most prostitutes go out the body, most sex workers go out the body, so on and so forth. So it's about you really spending time on claiming your power back again, claiming your body, forgiving yourself, not in put blame, shame, what you did in the past. There has to be a knowing of you claiming your body before you go into that sexual process. What does it feel like for you? Do you get that kind of nervousness, like your energy raises before you go into it, out your body?
I definitely disconnect for sure.
Yes,
in some ways.
yes.
I feel physical pleasure. I don't like the way my husband touches me. I hate to admit that, but after having so many experiences, it's difficult to just like dial that all back and kind of go vanilla. I hate to say it. And what I realized is that I was trying to compensate for all my sexual shame by getting married and doing the thing and hoping that it would go away and that I don't know, that I could be a better person. But through this reclaiming, so Andrew recommended that I do like CBD baths and have a couple of purging releases, non-sexual. And those were intense, like very intense. He told me that I would gag, spit, retch, vomit possibly. And all of those things did happen. Released a lot of like yucky energy from my jaw. And that, I mean, I'm not going to say it freaked me out because like I knew that all that energy was in there, but I was surprised. So then I went through a forgiveness process to my body, just like, I'm sorry, body. I love you. You're beautiful. Thank you. It's okay, you're safe, you're loved. One quote that Andrew gave me, I forgive myself for stupid unknowingness. And that
So
has really stuck with
so
me.
a question of when you started doing the bath, how long did you do it for? How long was the journey and what did it feel like when you started trying to purge it?
So I covered myself in like a CBD oil and got in a hot bath, and it moved pretty quickly. I would say 20 minutes, and I was like ready to just do whatever was going to come up. And um, it felt just like retching, like if you're hungover and you're just trying to throw up and there's nothing left. And yeah, it was just like full body convulsions, spitting, snot, yeah, shit stuck in my throat to spit out. Like it was very visceral.
So I would recommend doing that on a regular basis because you only got 15% of it out. There's still a lot of it in your core energy, especially your feet, your legs, all it within your tailbone. It's still there in the feet, but you got quite a bit of it out. But it's a case of you doing it again, and doing it on a regular process. Of you continuing to purge out this stuff. David, Amy, Laura, do you want to come in here, guys, and talk about sexual trauma and how we can work on that?
Can I ask a few background questions, Leah?
Go ahead.
What was your background like, your association with parents, etc.?
I was raised really in isolation. My parents were hippies, very good people, but I was an only child and they raised me in the woods. So I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have a lot of contact with humans. A lot of my experience was spiritual, energetic, imaginary fantasy, really. I lived in a
Okay.
fantasy world until I went to school.
Describe your first sexual experience in your words.
I have a hard time calling it rape, but I was under the age of consent and it wasn't safe or good or the way it should have been.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some surgical questions now. Is that okay? Do you hate yourself?
No.
Okay, good. Are you disgusted with the self?
Yes, but less than I was a month ago.
Okay. Why are you disgusted with the self? Think about that before you answer me. Why? Why are you disgusted with the self?
The word that comes up first is indulgence. Like I allowed myself to indulge in things that I knew weren't good for me for the sake of other people's pleasure or my own kind of like morbid curiosity.
Okay. What does your body feel like right now?
Tingly, scared, a little floaty, dry mouth.
What judgments do you have for yourself?
I mean, the word slut for sure comes up, cheater, dirty. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this from this perspective. You made a bunch of decisions which you think were bad for you. Is that correct?
Yes.
You think you did them for money and survival. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a but in there though,
What is the but?
that I actually chose almost all of those experiences like on purpose. With
I
the
have a
exception,
question. I have
go
a
ahead.
question. Please explain to me what is wrong with being a slut, in your words.
Nothing. It just doesn't meet the qualities that we're instructed to have.
And who instructed you to have them?
Society.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Are you esoterically inclined? What is
Very.
your belief system? You're very, okay. So you're aware that our journey, our souls, collecting experiences. Is that correct?
Yes.
And these are your experiences, right?
Yes.
And so I'm going to ask you, if these are your experiences, what have you learned?
If I'm going to make choices to do them for my own benefit, in an ethical way that doesn't harm anybody.
So you've
I don't,
had some you've had some very hard integrity lessons. Is that what's happening?
yeah.
Okay. Do you think you might have grown from these? Are you still doing the same things you used to do? Making the same decisions?
Well, there's some tea, David. You want me to spill the tea?
Oh yeah, I want you to spill the tea.
So one of Andrew's prescriptions for me was to orgasm. And I did, but it wasn't from my husband. And that sounds bad right off the bat, but I'm going to
I don't have a judgment.
This was a sapiosexual connection with a friend over poetry and music. And before I knew it, I was climaxing. It's like
Okay.
what Dave was talking about. All the energy that I had freed up in the top part of my body came alive. And it was just like, but it was all waist up.
Leah,
It was
I'm
like
going to ask you a question. Probably your skill set and your attunement has a sexual quality to it. I'm going to just ask you. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask you to ask yourself in a deep way. Do you like sex? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you do. So probably some of the decisions that you made, specifically regarding sexuality, yes, you say there's morbid curiosity and you have a bunch of judgment for yourself, but it might be that you just like sex. Has that crossed your mind at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a sapiosexual connection with somebody else. And so now you've attached the concept of cheating. You're expecting me to judge you because you're judging yourself, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. There are two ways that can I give you a theory that has been thrown around the religious community?
Please.
Sin is only a sin if you think it's a sin. I'm sorry. I know everybody in the comments are going to blow me up. Yeah, please go ahead. Say some bad stuff to me. Sin is only a sin if you think it's a sin. And then when you think it's a sin, then you've sinned. I'm going to ask you a question, another question. Do you realize that throughout history there have been people who are called sacred consorts or sacred prostitution? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely feel a connection.
Do you think that you might be in that energy in this lifetime?
Yeah.
Would you like to know why they were called sacred?
Yes, please.
Because they actually owned that shit. They didn't run from that shit. They owned it. And your problem is that you have a dichotomy going on between what you want to do and what you think you want to be doing. So I think that you think that because you have this massive body count and so on, that you are less spiritual than somebody else. Am I correct? Are you telling yourself that shit?
In some ways, probably, yes.
Oh, so you're less spiritual? Okay. So how?
In other ways, I think I'm more spiritual. I think I experience more bliss in my life than most people ever will.
Leah, let me ask you a question. If somebody who, I don't know, married their high school sweetheart straight out of school, who's only had sex with one person, came to you and said, I don't know, I don't know. I mean, like, I wonder what, I don't know about sexuality and so on. Do you think you might be able to instruct them on a few things?
Sure.
I don't know how to give like oral sex as an example if they said something like that to you. Do you think you might be able to instruct them on a few things?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
probably all your experiences were not exactly completely useless, were
No.
they?
No.
So you know some shit, don't you?
Yeah, and I'm trying to reintegrate the fact that I don't have to hate my slut self. Like I can recall, and she really wants to live in me with me again, come through and like do it more ethically. And so
Just
I
so
did
you
my
know,
husband.
just so that we're clear, we're all sluts, all of us. All of us
Yeah.
are sluts. Everybody is a slut. Okay? Some of us just have it up here. Okay? Like I see all of y'all in the chat with your little judgmental. Y'all are all sluts. If you've ever read a romance novel and you're getting off on the books, it's like you're a slut. Slutty. Right? You're slutty just like the rest of us. My dear Leah, we're all sluts. You're a slut, I'm a slut. Like everybody on the panel is a slut. Look at their faces. Look at your guilty faces. Look at the little man whore. Right? My point is we're all sluts. My point is that you have had the physical experience of promiscuity or whatever, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. And the more you try to judge yourself, the dirtier that you feel. You have two roads in front of you right now. There are only two. There are only two roads in front of you. The first road is to go down the road of feeling badly about yourself and trying to make reparations and restitution and stuff like that. That is a never-ending road that will lead you down into depression. The other side of that equation is that you own the shit that you actually have done and are, and get the idea that now you know a lot more shit than 90% of the audience listening to this thing right now. They think about it, but you might have done it. So you actually do know a lot more shit than a lot of people. So I understand that you want to clean yourself up. The things that you should clean up is the times when you surrendered your sovereignty and agency to another person, as opposed to, you know, suck my toes or something. Does that make sense to you? That's what you should clean up. But you shouldn't clean up your past. Your past is your past. I don't judge you. Nobody else here judges you. I'm quite sure nobody's judging you. You're the only one who's judging yourself. Do you
You're
feel
right.
me?
I felt it was so important to be honest with this aspect of myself that was coming up that I did talk to my husband, and we talked about ethical non-monogamy, and I told him all of my fantasies. And to be honest, it like kind of broke his heart in the way that the patriarchy is breaking. But he does love me, and he is committed to growing with me, and I think that's amazing. I'm so proud of both of us. But I'm still in that like really nervous and terrified state of fucking it up. There's part of me that is this, Andrew talked about like my inner rebel, which has always rebelled against structures and systems and does not want to be in a cage. I even have a tattoo of like an open cage on my arm.
Leah, can I
And
ask you a question? Do you do any poetry at all?
oh my God. So the other thing he said is after I had that orgasm, that my creativity would overflow. Dale, I've written 50 poems in 2 weeks.
So
And
this,
kind of smut scene, and like I can't even tell you how I've been singing again. The creativity blew the top.
so because that's what I've been reading. It's like as I'm tuning to your frequency, it's like this poetry and tapestry frequency wanting to come through you, but it's about you creating a poetry and tapestry frequency in you to outcreate what's going on. And it's all about empowerment for you. And like David said, taking the charge from the past is going to be so important. Taking the judgment from the past is going to be so important. And what's going to be really beneficial for you is to actually create poetry and empowerment. Start going into the story and making poetry out of it. So you're flipping the frequency on the past, because poetry for you enables you to go into a flowing, creative, high frequency state. You going back into the past without that, it's going to completely crumble you, and you're going to get overwhelmed. So you're needing to create this kind of poetry frequency and go back to the CBD in the bath, do that, but afterwards create poetry as well. Going back even more about the shame you put on yourself, make fun of it. I'm claiming my power now, but start doing all these creative, and the inner rebel, get the inner rebel to come in and use poetry as well, because that part of you is a really essence of you being able to open up, have the orgasm, have the release, to start getting deep into this dense energy stuck in you. And you're about 20% of it's out of you at the moment, but there's another 80%. And I do believe if you start doing that empowerment poetry, really going deep into the layers, like David said, it's just about being free, understanding it, not being kind of polarized by the information. You're going to have to go into
beating yourself up or beating
Yes.
yourself up. What's the point of that? Point of that, own that shit, my dear. Own it. That is who you are. And there's nothing that anybody should be judging you on. You're talking about patriarchy and all that stuff. But the ideas in your head where you're beating yourself up come from patriarchy. Let that shit go. This is coming from a man. Let that shit go. Okay? Because it's a bunch of nonsense that we told women, oh, by the way, if you have sex with more than one man and stuff like that, you're a slut. And that's the standard, right? And women are like, yeah, we can do whatever the hell we want. This is 2024. We're all sluts. Everybody's a slut in this place. Okay, if you're not a slut in body, you're a slut in your mind. I absolutely, or if you're a slut in your energy, all right? For those of you who like eye raping people, sluts.
Yeah, I mean, Leah, you're not treading on anyone else's journey in this. Okay, this is your journey. You're not affecting other people, which is brilliant. So I would retask that rebellious side of you, because you have so much knowledge and wisdom, because you've turned the knowledge of sex or intimacy, right, through action, you've turned that into wisdom. So you would actually be a really good sex therapist, or you would be able to help people who have sexual problems, women who have intimacy problems and so on, because you're so beautifully open about it. And that's where your rebellious side can be retasked.
Here's what I'm struggling with the most, I guess, and maybe you can give me some advice, is my husband, the person I've been with for 14 years, doesn't really turn me on at this moment in time. I'm not really sexually attracted to him, though I love him deeply with loyalty for the life we've built. It's not really the sex I'm looking for right now. And I don't want to coach him, except that he is my husband and I do love him and I want us to have a good and healthy sex life. So I'm in, that's the weird place I'm in right now.
What does a good and healthy sex life look like to you? And then maybe to your husband, maybe ask him, what does come together and talk about, what does it look like?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one where I'm orgasming.
It's one way. It's a one way ticket.
No,
Say that again, Leah.
That's the part that's missing. And that's where all my creativity comes from.
Right. Okay, so I had a question. Why is it missing from him? I know you labeled it as vanilla versus what you used to know. So how do we turn that vanilla into something more?
That's where I'm right now, is trying to figure how to do that. And I've thought about, using kink to work out the kinks. There's a couple of things that I think would be beneficial for me and my inner rebel, like soft sub-dom play. But to be honest, I'm not comfortable playing out aggression with my husband. Does that make sense? Because he's actually been aggressive before. in an uncontrolled way. So I don't trust him to do it in a controlled way, even though he's done a lot of inner work and has essentially changed. I remember that.
Okay, so let's get into the surgery now. Question. Question. I'm going to ask you some, I wish you were on camera right now. I'm going to ask you some very, very tough questions.
Right.
When you say you love your husband, what does that mean?
It means that I feel safe with him to an extent, because that just contradicts what I just said. He is a protector. I believe that he loves me. I don't feel embarrassed around him. I feel like he knows me. But the parts of him that he doesn't know is this sex part.
Okay.
Part.
So, Leah, what do you think when somebody says they love their partner? What do you think they mean? Can't hear
Oh, you're
you.
muted. You're muted.
There
Oh,
we
there
go.
I-
Aurora.
Hi, Leah.
All right. Could you ask me the question again?
We're talking about love your husband. I understand that there are different definitions of love and so on. I am asking you, when you think about your husband, do you think lifelong partner to go through eternity and walk through the shadows, white horse riding off into the sunset? Is that what you think? Be honest, no bullshit. So you have a kind of filial love with your husband, don't you? I have a question. When you think about your husband, put your husband in your mind right now, strip his clothes off. Are you turned on?
No.
So your love for your husband is filial. Do you know what that means?
No.
It means that he's family.
Yes. And I even remember telling him when I met him, I was like, you feel like my brother.
Oh,
I don't have a brother.
okay. So there's a high possibility, and I'm going to say this to you, that the arrangement of how y'all are in a relationship needs to change. Do you see why?
Mhm.
Because
And
monogamy is not going to work for you right now, because to make the change where you reprogram your mind into a monogamous situation that you're thinking about your husband and then you're having spontaneous orgasms just thinking about him, that's not going to happen, is it, Leah?
no.
Do you see how honest you're being with yourself right now?
Yeah, it's been hard. I've been doing this for weeks now.
Okay. So what you came on the show for is to try to put you in a box. I have no intention of putting it. Do you see the Aurea Borealis around us right now? Right. So you want to put yourself in a box again, and that's not going to work. Because you're already out of the box. It's Pandora. It's a Pandora problem you have there. Your sexuality, the way you are, who you are, is out of the box. You're trying to put yourself back into the box of monogamy, little housemaker, Christian woman. You can't do that.
His heart. I want to try to like live ethical non-monogamy with him, but that's my idea and not his. And if I'm honest, no amount of time is going to change what I've discovered about myself.
Okay. So you're going to have to make some changes, aren't you? And that's what you're afraid of, because you're afraid of the effects of the changes, the consequences, isn't it?
Yep.
So you just said that he loves you and he loves you and you feel safe. But you don't feel safe to have that kind of conversation. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I did have that conversation. The only thing I left out was that someone else made me come.
Oh, you left
which
some
was
stuff out? Then you don't feel safe, do you?
a rock at the top, like coming down the hill. Once I realized that there was like this whole part of me that I was neglecting and not serving, I don't have a choice. Like I can't go
Okay.
back in the box.
I'm going to ask you a question. Imagine, how old are you right now?
39.
Imagine living the next 50 years without an orgasm and sexually dissatisfied. How does that make you feel?
Awful.
Is that something you're willing to do?
No.
Okay, well, I can't, and it's not ethical for any of us here to try to make you be attracted to your husband. So either he changes of his own volition and his own free will, and hopefully that might change something up in you. Kink being a good, I see your mind went down the kink road already, all right? Or you change of your own volition and put yourself back in a box. But you don't want to go back in the box because the box is a life that you don't want to have to lead, is it?
Right.
Do you see how the roads are in front of you? I suggest you have that conversation and you need to open up your relationship. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you that, or you're going to have to adjust your relationship because I don't think you're willing, and not it, from the look in your eyes, you're not willing to make that box change, are you? Be
No.
honest.
I mean, I'm willing to give it wiggle room, but I know we're going to come right back around to this same place, which is going to be like, I want a life that you can't give me. And that feels so shitty to say because he has given me a lot. One of the first things Andrew had us do was like claim our victories. After 14 years together, and he's been through cancer treatment, and we've both like gone on these journeys, we've had children, like there's been a lot of wins. It feels like a shame to let that just go, but
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If y'all have been through all of this and your relationship is solid, why don't you trust him to have that kind of conversation in full about what your needs are? Why? This is a no bullshit conversation. We're talking direct to each other. Why?
I just don't want to break his heart. It's that simple. I don't want to be the reason
You don't want to be the
couldn't
reason he relapses, is what you're going to say?
or dies. I don't know. Like I've been with people who've committed suicide before, so and people have tried to weaponize that against me. And I know it's not true, but I am afraid that he would hurt himself or not be able to move past it in a healthy way.
And that's why you're thinking about being in a box and trying to beat yourself up. Yeah, well, Leah, that's a no-win situation. You already know that. So you need a strategy for getting what you want while maintaining a certain amount of peace and serenity in your house.
Yeah.
And I see what the options are in front of you. The options are in front of you, and all of them take you out of integrity. Is that correct?
I feel like they do, yeah. I can't really continue seeking this like mental connection with someone else if I haven't been honest about it with him. I don't feel like that. I feel like that is a tangle that doesn't need to be made, but it's already gone to that point. So you can't reel it back in either.
What I suggest that you do, and I'm going to make a suggestion, is that sometimes it depends on the individual. I do not know your husband, but sometimes it is better to step things down slowly and have that conversation in pieces, bit by bit, than to do the full shock aspect.
That's what I'm doing.
What
So I
one
think, like,
thing that's what you're doing?
yeah, I had the big conversation about the fact that I'm actually bisexual and I think my orientation is non-monogamy and I don't think that's going to change. And here's my list of fantasies. And that was like pretty much all he could take. And I'm going to let that ride for a little bit and just try to let him come to terms with it at his own pace, because that's the only fair thing to do.
Okay. How long will that take?
I said 6 months.
Is he angry?
I think he is, but he knows that his anger is a trigger for me, and he's trying really hard to not lean into his anger. He's more like a hurt little boy right now.
Will it stay in that phase? Are you concerned?
For my safety, no. I am concerned that this is going to end in divorce anyway, like, because again, I'm not sure this is something that he truly wants, and if it's not, then he can't come with me.
Okay. So what is your next step after the big conversation?
So just committing to my own integrity of like what my daily life, I need to take care of my kids and I need to feed my family. So like Andrew suggested, I've been hearth kind of witch cooking and cooking a lot from scratch and putting like honest love and compassion into the food to feed my family. Having these honest conversations, being as transparent as I feel like I can be right now with both parties that I'm kind of in the middle of, and trying not to hate myself.
Okay, so you probably need to do clean inside, well, clean the emotional body of yourself. You absolutely need to do that. And we have, well, people who have shamanism on board that could actually talk to you in that kind of way. My suggestion would be, with regard to you, if you are going to have any kind of interaction with your husband, you're going to have to expand in your own spiritual self. And expanding it is going to take you also away from attraction to your husband. I will explain what I mean by that. So the Greeks had a pyramid of different kinds of love, okay? And this is how it works. The bottom of the pyramid was called eros. That's the love where erotic is what we derive the word. It's man and woman business. Above that was philios, the love of family, friends, etc. Right? You have a filial love or connection with somebody, it's that. You are at that level, okay? You are trying to step it down into eros. Here's the problem with that. You can't, not easily. Because when you climb up that ladder, there's only one way up. It's up. The last part of that pyramid was agape, which was unconditional love. So if it is that you are trying to get back down into eros with your husband, when he may be in eros and you're in this philios thing, okay? I assume that your husband is attracted to you. Why do you think he's attracted to you? Why?
I'm beautiful and honest and compassionate and open.
He really loves you, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that you're the best sexual experience he's ever had? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You notice that you didn't hesitate to say that. So he's at eros, you're at philios, and so you're acting as a service person. Do you see that you're making the same mistake that you used to make before?
To save myself.
He's in eros, you're in philios, and you're basically servicing that man's needs at the expense of yourself. And I'm sure you've tried every kind of technique, and I'm seeing the techniques you've tried. You've tried to do the subservice person. You've tried to put yourself into that mode. That's not working, is it?
I'm more dominant. I want control. I want to tell men what to do.
Okay. And that's not working for you, is it?
I'm interested in being with a woman, which I've never been able to explore because I never let myself out of the fear of judgment. I want to be with women for out of the male gaze, like for no one's pleasure but mine.
Okay. And what
It's just an awareness, like an epiphany. It all was a download in that one orgasm. And now I'm just overflowing, and there's no way to put the waterfall back into the ocean. Like it's a lot.
So
And
what,
even talking about, you can't see it, but on the page in my journal that I just wrote about is like midlife eros in a woman. And the surge of eros at midlife is a holy raw fire of desire. It has echoes of our maiden lust, which was often shrouded in deep mistrust. We were who we were and we did what we did. We expressed, we repressed, we were super wild or super mild, and it was all for good reason. I don't remember where I wrote this down from. It was something on the internet, but it felt really powerful.
so
Go ahead.
you go ahead. Go on, continue.
Unless we reckon with our intense judgments of younger women and our younger selves, we are not free to be at the place where we are. We can't embrace our midlife eros if we are judging and patronizing our maiden selves or younger women. Why?
So you have a fire starting inside of you, and it's trying to consume you, and the fire came from when you came out of shame. Yeah? Okay. You're going to have to make some adjustments in your life, and there is no hard way, so you're gonna have to step that man down slowly.
Yeah.
Because you're not going back down into Eros and you're not going back into a box, clearly. I'm sorry, but you took yourself out of the box. You can't put yourself back in. And nobody else can put you in. I wouldn't suggest that anybody try anyway. Okay? You're gonna have to make those hard decisions, my dear.
I know.
Because the other choice is the box. Unless he's willing to come out of that box with you.
Mhm.
And you don't think he is. But my question to you is, why don't you think he is?
Yeah, that was my question.
See him trying. I mean, I really do. He has recognized almost immediately that there are things that he wasn't doing just to keep an egalitarian household. You know, like I was doing all of the physical labor and all of the childcare and getting little to no emotional support. And he recognized that very quickly. And in the last week has helped me do the dishes. And like, I know that sounds dumb, but he's doing what he can.
The dishes? I think that's not what you want, is it?
I mean, I don't hate it.
I mean, yeah, if somebody did my dishes, I'll be very happy. But that's not what you want, is it? What is it that you want? Say it loud and proud. Claim it. What is it that Leah wants?
Do I have to say it again? The orgasm.
Only
Full
one?
body.
You only want one. Okay.
I don't know how to say it any different.
So, Leah, is it that you want to stay in your marriage with your setup, with your husband, and then have the extramarital sexual experiences that are going to fulfill you orgasmic wise?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. And at the moment, that would be a problem to him. Okay. But that would that be the ideal situation for you?
Yeah.
If he would accept that.
I mean, it's not just about having one experience to satiate myself. This is kind of like an entire lifestyle choice. I don't know who I'm going to meet and who I'm going to like and who I might fall in love with or who might fall in love with me or how long it's going to last. And I don't want to have to cross that boundary without having already talked about it.
You want that freedom, though, to do that. And
I
could,
just want to.
could he have the same freedom to do that? I assume with you that would be okay if he ever came around to that way of thinking, that he could have that freedom too. Yeah.
I even told him like the idea of you having a lover does not bother me. I don't necessarily want to be in the room because I'd feel like that's formative and for other people. But I'm okay with that. But he doesn't want to. He said that he has no fantasy that doesn't include me, which felt like a rock in a hard place.
Well, that's felt suffocating to you, being the sort of person you are, yeah.
So I would recommend alongside all of this as well is for you to keep up that poetry, but add layers where you're really connecting to spirit and asking for help. Because what you're trying to find here is clarity. And at the moment, everything's kind of like, the window screen wipers, when there's mud on it, it just keeps going past and you can't see through the mud. That's what I'm feeling with you at the moment. So I would personally start writing these poems out, poems of empowerment, poems of compassion as well for yourself and your other selves, and poems as well to speak to spirit, saying, I need your help. I'm in a place I'm at the moment and I want to find my clarity again. I don't know what my future is. There's many different potentials available to me at this present moment, but I want to walk into that right potential now. And I need help, ancestors. I need your guidance. I need your love to guide me through this, because sometimes my other selves can go into obsession and I think I want something, but I truly don't want something. Then I'll change my mind down the line and so on and so forth. So you're needing to really evaluate what you're going to do in this present moment to create a different future. And I would recommend writing down potentials of what you can see different futures to be. Maybe what if you go down this road, this could happen. If you went down this road, this would happen. It's all about you now evaluating yourself, but taking your time doing it. Do not rush into harsh decisions, fast decisions, and such. Just take your time with this and ask for guidance and ask. And like Dave's advice, Amy's, Laura's, like you've got support around you and you've got people to speak to about it. And I like that you're transparent. That's so important. And to him, you're a teacher of being transparent, being honest, being open, because he's not. So you're there being truthful, and that's a great thing you have. You've got to really honor that. The amount of people listening at the moment in marriages who aren't really truthful to their husband or wife, don't tell them about the fantasies. You're a teacher there for him and others listening as well. So it's about what you do with it now. But smile as you're doing it, having the joy. And like Andrew said, bring that victory energy inside you for all the great work you've done and all the stuff you've got here. You're here now on this show. You've changed your life around, and you've got to bring all of that empowerment frequency to you. Start putting it into the poetry and start making it something sacred so you can have clarity on choices now. Yeah, that's just something I wanted to add there.
Thank you. I do feel that empowerment and it feels amazing, and I don't want to let go of it. I just want to like keep going. Whatever this is amazing.
But I think we all know you're not going to be able to stifle, and nor should you, what your desires are for experiences in this life. And although you're in a marriage, I would also say you're not actually treading on his journey. You could say you're treading on your joint journey, but we know it's not a joint journey. Even when we're married, we know that we're all on individual journeys of experiences and things we want to experience. And you have this drive in you to have those other experiences. And I think we know enough from this conversation to know that if the opportunity was to come up for you to have another experience, that you would possibly more than consider it, and that it would have an implication on your current relationship. So I think that's something you would have to be prepared for. And, you know, he can't say you haven't talked about it or put it out there to him. I don't, it's a really difficult one, but I don't think anyone should stifle their own journey with what they want to experience, as long as, yeah, we're doing no harm to any sentient kind. And then it comes up, where does the harm start? You are ultimately not responsible for his journey either, and for the experiences he's chosen in this lifetime. I'm not saying you rush, you know, pig-headed out there into an experience with no thought, but you're not like that. You are considering this. You are talking or trying to talk about it to him. But I just think it's a very difficult one, because you're on this trajectory and he's on that one. And as David said, you know, getting those two like that is a real challenge, unless he's prepared to change and accept you really as you, the person you are and the person you're developing and the sort of person you want to experience. But I think it's very important that you don't beat yourself up about any of this or have any judgment, like we've all said, on the fact you have these feelings and you want these experiences. They're all totally natural. And I don't think they should be suppressed unless it's going to, you know, it's about harming somebody, which it isn't.
Thank you.
My dear, you look, I understand that you have an esoteric perspective. We're all souls here. Okay? I've never met a slutty soul yet. Okay? I've never met a whoring soul yet. Okay, we're all souls yet. You gotta expand your thinking past this body awareness nonsense. It's just bodies doing bodily things.
But
Okay,
we
if you
really
get
seek love and connection.
right, we're seeking love and connection, and for some people it might look differently. Right? Honestly, I could just look. And I want the audience to, if some of y'all have some weird like judgment and so on, look at this woman's face. What do you see? You see somebody that has experiences or a body count, or are you seeing anything else? Because if you're not seeing anything else, then you're not ready yet. You're not joining us in Aurea Borealis. You're not. Okay?
You're
Seriously.
Missy awakening.
Right? You're not joining us in Aurea Borealis. You gotta stop that nonsense and look at yourself. You are a soul. We are all souls together. Right? We're not gonna be talking about people like pieces of meat. Okay? You feel me, my sister? You good?
Yes, I'm better. Thank you.
Oh, you're a great teacher, Leah, for a lot of people.
I
You're
appreciate that.
transparent. Yeah.
And a good leader too. I've been watching Andrew for a long time and noticing the way that he speaks to people and understands them. And I've been trying to hold the same compassion for myself.
Yes.
So what have you learned from listening to Andrew for all that time then, and so on?
I mean, there's so much that we don't know and don't understand. And to judge where we're at in our journey from the current perspective that we're standing in is always incomplete. There's always more to know, always more to learn. And it's locked in us somewhere. Like each of us has access to a deep truth and a deep well of wisdom. We have to learn how to access it.
Yeah. Can I just mention something that I'm just seeing? There's a part of you that's mourning. It feels as though like this grief piece that you may have to work through, because that's where we kind of hold all our emotions.
My
And-
mom fell off there 6 years ago and died traumatically. And so very much grieving that.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I'm realizing that a lot of what I was doing here in my marriage was trying to make her proud. I wanted to give her grandchildren, and I wanted to prove that I was worthy or good or something like that. And now that she's not here alive, I don't feel the same necessity to prove a point or to live a certain way. I feel freer, which is weird to say 'cause I love my mom and she was very supportive. But yeah, a lot of this wouldn't have come up if she hadn't died. So I'm trying to really just
Leah,
yeah,
repeat this over and over again. I am a soul.
I am a soul.
Yeah,
I
you're
am.
not a body. You're not. And you're not flesh, hair, bone, and cartilage. You are soul first. That thing that you're walking around with is called a body. Always remember that, right? Whatever you did to that body never reached that soul. That soul only learned from it. Okay? And if that, you can't necessarily dirty a soul. You can do a lot of things to it, but dirty it, and it's a choice. Everything you have control over. And specifically speaking, your environment that you are in right now is you're living in a kind of prison of the self. I hope that you let go of these ideas of thinking of yourself as less than. I really do. But you are also in a prison of the self where you are in the prison of someone's expectation. I want to repeat that for the peanut gallery in the audience. Living in the prison of another person's expectation, whether it be your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, living in the prison of somebody's expectation is a horrible, horrible thing, because it comes down to, if I claim sovereignty, I hurt somebody. But then the choice is giving up my sovereignty and my agency. You know how many women are caught in that paradox where they become bad people, on men as well, by the way, right? They become bad people because they don't want to live up to other person's expectations. They want to live up to their expectations. What is the right answer here? Because the wrong answer is that if you live up to somebody's expectations at the sacrificing of your own, then you're living out of integrity with yourself. So you want to talk about integrity and being a good person? I'm guessing that there's a little personality inside of you that's thinking that you're not such a great person. You're not cooperating with me. And that personality is going to come back to sabotage you in the future. You feel me, my sister?
I do.
Good. Think about it. Ponder that. The prison of somebody else's expectation.
Here, I'll show you my tattoo.
Sure.
Wow.
Ah, canary cage.
Wow. That's cool.
That is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I could remove that tattoo. Never mind. Right, I could remove that tattoo any moment. My point is, no more prison.
No.
Take yourself out of
Yeah.
your own prison, by the way. Right? Nobody here judging you. You're the worst judge of yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that sparkle in her face. You're like sparkling right now. You
Can
like
you
bring
guys-
out.
Can you remember when you met me a month ago and you were like, take your hair down, like you're beautiful, and like I did not feel or look like this. I've gone back to watch the video.
So
Yeah.
there's some more advice from me would be really separating the word need from want. And this is going to give you so much understanding and empowerment from really writing down what you truly want to what you truly need. Example, orgasm, need. To feel loved, to feel supported, need. what do you want? Then you want to make someone happy. I want to make this guy happy. I want to make that person happy. So when you separate the wants from the needs, you can understand self is in need at the moment. And this is the path for you, separating the wants from the needs, the codependency, doing stuff to make someone happy. That's a need. It's a want. It's not a need. So you're going to have to separate that, write a list, and that list will take you on a journey. You'll really understand, right, what can I do now to continue this? I need energy, what your soul truly needs to grow instead of what you want. And separating that will give you so much spiritual insight and wisdom. Because for everyone out there as well, this is one of the best things you can possibly teach for someone growing up, separating needs and wants, so they can actually understand what they're wanting, what they actually need. If children knew that, just imagine how different the world would be for when people actually understood what they truly need to what they want and going for what they need. So that was just some things I was picking up there to add to that as well.
On that note, I'd like to share with you what's on my desk. Butt squeezers. Do you see them? Like butt squeezers, like little squeezy butts.
Yes. Wonder where you got those.
Yeah. A friend of mine emailed them to me all the way from Pennsylvania. Like when I'm really stressed, I'm gonna just squeeze the little butt thing here.
Is that for your child or your inner slut?
Oh, good question.
And dig this, it separates like, and then you like squeeze the butts individually. Get yourself a butt squeezer. It's wonderful. It has done wonders for my health.
Don't take poppers with it if you're familiar with what poppers are. We used to have them around our school. All kids used to. Oh,
Leah. How about Leah? Here you go. Be the she-wolf. Unleash the wild. Unleash that wildness within that you had a new paradigm. Bring it all back into a new paradigm. Get rid of the old, you thought slut, whatever you thought about the wild.
I get to name it and claim it, and it's mine.
Yeah.
Do you know any jokes at all?
From junior high.
Go ahead. Go on, tell us.
Why is a pool table green?
Why?
You'd be green too if you had your balls wrapped around all day.
Oh god.
Well, that was fun.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good middle school joke.
Have you got any questions for any of us or anything you want to add? Any insights from what everyone said?
Well, if anyone doesn't already trust and believe that Andrew has his head on straight, like he does, and he pulls stuff that like I didn't understand the way this was going to unravel a month ago. Things that he said in my initial conversation with him, 1,000% came to fruition in ways I didn't even understand, and I'm just always grateful for his guidance and his presence in this world, and for all of you who have seen the same thing in him and helped build this community, which I really think is healing people, including myself.
Oh,
that's nice.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else, guys? Anything you want to add? Any last words of advice before we say goodbye?
Get yourself a butt squeezer.
David brings out a promo code, 10% off.
I should have stole more of those, David. I didn't realize you liked them that much.
Oh yeah, I do. It's always on my desk. It's always on my desk.
Thank you so much for calling in, Leah, and call in a month or so time and tell us where you're at, updated.
Yeah.
Thanks, darling. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Great call.
Yes.
Was.
It's very good.
Somebody wanted to come in that room. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, there was somebody. Have they disappeared, Joe?
think so. Yeah. So why
Yeah.
don't we? So David, what is there anything coming up for you in the future? What's going on with you business wise and so on to share amongst our people?
So you know how like I am really idle, right? You guys you guys know me by now. I'm idle. So what I've done is created a health community. I would like you guys. Can I show that on the
Share screen.
share screen?
I believe you can, can't you? Yeah, because you're co-host.
Okay, let's see what have I been up to. Let's see if I can share anything inappropriate on my like no butt squeezer promos. No, nothing. Okay, so no, okay. I'm going to share my screen. I don't know which desktop this is. Number 2. No, entire screen. Where is the entire screen? Wow. I have no idea how to do this now. What happened? What happened? Entire screen,
So
desktop
if you click share, there you go.
There you
You've
go.
done it.
2. Is that am I on the screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Okay, let's go. Integrative Health Network .net. There we go. So guys, what we did was we built a an entire health network for those of you who are looking for places practitioners, or you're looking for information. So this network that we created has people who are into spiritual health, mental health, physical health, sexual health, everybody. So I kind of like went around the world and found some really good practitioners. But what I really want to show you guys is, as usual, we created another community, right, which is a Facebook-like community. And if I click into this community, you can see that we are set up just like Facebook, except guess what? There is no censorship. None. No censorship. There's no censorship. You can speak how you want, behave how you want. Well, not totally behave how you want, because
Yeah,
if you're a
not
Nazi, we're not into the Nazi thing, all right? But
Book clenching thing I saw there, David, to bite on the side.
yes, we have videos. We have videos of David doing the butt clenching thing for hours. So what I am going to do as well is show you the other aspect of what we created for you guys. And I'm just going to just log in right now and I'll show you. So this is like we're centered around health. Anybody can join, it's free to join. And inside of here, we have not only practitioners, we have patients and clients as well. Yeah, so we've done that. And the other part of this is obviously, David, what are you going to do with regard to the rest of, let me just get this done. Open tab. There we go. The other part of this is we have also copied a YouTube type platform where you can go and check out all our past shows as well as stuff on health. If you are having somebody for cancer diagnosis, we put them all in one community. So you have the Facebook facing community, and then you have the YouTube facing community where you can click, like, let's say you are helping somebody with cancer. We have stripped all the ads off of these things, so nobody has to deal with 5-second ads before, during, and after everything, right? So as you can see, it just plays. Get the general idea, guys?
Mm-hmm.
And we're
Yes.
going to be housing all of our stuff inside here where nobody has to worry about if they say the word vaccine, they're going to be banned or so on. So that's what we have been up to, specifically to allow people to be free and speak their minds without censorship, without nothing like that. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And that's basically what it is. Go ahead. Any questions?
How is that available, David? How can people go check that out? Where would they have to go to?
Integrative Health Network.net. And so they can log in. There are people who are there that are administrators there to receive them and so on. But it gives them the access to the resources, because trolling on YouTube is brutal. Right? No ads, no weirdness, no censorship, nothing. We got kind of tired of that. People need the ability to be able to speak and talk as they would like. Yep.
Beautiful. Thank you, David. And Amy, what about yourself?
Yeah. Well, David and I are over at the UCM social platform community, and we are actually having a live hypnotherapy class, certified, starting Saturday. If anybody wants to join us, just join the community at community.universalcitizentv.com and get a hold of me in there and let me know that you're interested in that.
Yeah, we'll also be teaching CBT, REBT, and apparently I'm going to be teaching at the end of it hypnoanesthesia and pain management. Apparently I'm going to be teaching that as well.
I think I have to sign up for that, do hypnotherapy again.
No, you don't.
No.
That sounds
No, you
good.
do not.
That sounds good. Can I come on for the pain management bit?
Of course.
Thank you. Cool.
All right, and that's it, people. That's what's happening on our side. But this has been fun. I haven't been on a show for a while.
Yeah,
it's great to have you on, David. You're welcome anytime. Laura, Two Feathers Massey, what's going on with you?
Well, it's probably a bit less of the two feathers these days, isn't it? We're getting into some real mainstream healing here with the AI technology that we've got with our PEMF, that's pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. We're opening a pain clinic, Dale and I, in the very near future. Hopefully January next year in West Sussex, south of the UK, which is why Dale is now staying with me. We're working really hard to get all this together. And it really is thanks to David Ellis and Andrew Bartzis that we're doing that, because through what they started, I think many years ago in Barbados, wasn't it, David, with the combined healing, we've now honed that into a pain management clinic, which will be using the PEMF, using Lucia Light, using the hypnotherapy and counselling, which I've done with David. Dale has done some hypnotherapy too, massage, the lot. So we're looking at helping people through the deep trauma and the PTSD that chronic pain creates. And we're really excited to be starting this up on the South Coast. And yeah, thanks very much, David and Andrew, because we couldn't have done it without you two. This really is your baby, but we are determined to take it forward and make it successful here and help people, whether it's chronic pain, acute pain, or intermittent pain, and get to the root cause of that as well. And we've got some fabulous premises to open up in Ham Manor Golf Club, which is in Amorim, West Sussex. So we will be over social media. We will join the Integrative Health Network and go on there. So we're very lucky to have this at our disposal, and also Joel and Morgan, our producer, and his wife in the background helping us too. So thanks everybody for your support, and great show it's been as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And you couldn't have done it without you as well, Laura. You making the choices and doing the great work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure, sister. And so we have this coming Sunday on the 6th of October. We are back at the Galactic Drive-in. So it's a free webinar and it's available. The link will be in the description to come sign up. We're going to be doing a guided meditation through the universe again. I did the last one with Andrew and it was out of this world. So join us on Sunday when we're going to put our 5D glasses on and we're going to journey into the unknown of the universe. Myself, Amy, Andrew, and Laura will be taking you on a journey. So you're welcome to come to that. It's free. And as well, if you'd like a psychic surgery soul retrieval session with myself, head over to daletobin.com. I'm offering Bear Lodge, Dreaming Lodge sessions as well. So as well as a regular psychic surgery session, you'll get the introspection of the Bear's Dreaming Lodge about all the inner selves and how to resolve and find ancestral balancing in all of those parts of you which say, I can't do it. So it's about giving you that empowerment to say you can do it, creating that inner bear roar and telling the universe you're ready. I'd like to say thank you to everyone for watching, listening to the Talking Stick Show. This baby has been going for quite some time now, and to have everyone, David, Amy, Laura, Joel, Andrew, so on, everyone who's been on, I thank you, and thank you everyone for the support. Drop a subscribe, a like, a comment. We appreciate it. Goodbye and God bless.